Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hidayatin Fadila. I'm from third semester English Education Department, Universitas Islam Madura. I wanna identify the inflectional morpheme and derivational morpheme in the news. Before I identify in the news, do you know what is the morpheme? Morpheme is a short segment of language that meets three basic criteria. It is a word or a part of a word that has meaning. It cannot be divided into smaller meaningful segments without changing its meaning or leaving a meaningless remainder. It has relatively the same stable meaning in different verbal environments. And morpheme has two kinds. The first is free morpheme and the second is bound morpheme. Free morpheme are morphemes that can stand alone to function as words. Example, eat, drive, write, and the others. And bound morpheme are morphemes that cannot be stand alone with the meaning or as a word. Example, as, able, and, in, re, and the others. Bound morpheme has two kinds. The first is inflectional morpheme. Inflectional morpheme is functional or grammatical change in the word. Example, cat is the free morpheme, and if it adds s is show plural, so is a grammatical and not change the class word. And the second kinds of morpheme is of bound morpheme is derivational morpheme. Derivational morpheme is changes to word class or original meaning. An inflectional morpheme has three types. The first is verb inflection. Example, Mary performed last night. Aspect of the grammatical context that is relevant to the suffix ed on performed refers to the past even. The suffix ed does not change the meaning of the perform itself. It only shows that the action in the past even. And the next is noun inflection. Example, my younger sister buys some beautiful flowers. Suffix s in the word flowers, it shows that the flower is plural. Show that is a noun inflection. And the next is adjective inflection. Example, the word youngest. The word youngest, it shows that is the superlative, so that is the inflection, the kinds of inflection. Derivational morpheme, it changes the word class or the meaning. And there are kinds of derivational morpheme. The first is derivational suffix. Derivational suffix has 6 types. The verb is adjective to adverb. That is, change from the suffix lia, change from the adjective to adverb. Example, beautiful is adjective, become adverb if a suffix lia, become beautifully is adverb. And the next is adjective to noun. That the suffix that change the adjective to noun. Example, happy to happiness. Happy is adjective, but if a suffix ness become happiness, it become a noun. And the next is adjective to verb. That the suffix that change from adjective to verb. Example, active become activate that verb. And the next is verb to noun. that the suffix change from the verb to noun. Example, perform. If a suffix us become performance, that is the noun. Performance is nouns. And the next is verb to adjective. That suffix that change from the verb to adjective. Example, read. Read is a verb and a suffix able become readable. It's adjective. And the next is noun to adjective. That suffix that change noun to the adjective. Example, help. Help is noun, but if help is a suffix full, it's become a adjective. Helpful is adjective. The next is the kinds of derivational is derivational prefix. Derivational is not only suffix that change the meaning but also prefix. Example, prefix re that the meaning is again, prefix this, an, in, im that the meaning is not, and prefix mis that the meaning is mistake. After you know what is the morpheme and the types of morpheme and the types of bone morpheme, okay, now I wanna to identify the news that I wanna identify the inflectional morpheme and derivational morpheme in this news. Okay, I wanna read this news. Itaewon crash. South Korea police in response was inadequate by Daewoo. South Korea's police chief has said their emergency response to the Itaewon crash was inadequate, the first acknowledgement from officials that they did not do enough to prevent it. Amid growing calls for accountability, Yoon Hae-kyun said he felt limited responsibility about public safety over what happened. He vowed a full investigation. Interior Minister Lee Sang-min also apologized for the incident that killed 156 people and injured 152 others. It happened on Saturday night as crowds gathered in an alley in Itaewon, a popular nightlife district in Seoul, to celebrate Halloween without restrictions for the first time since COVID. The word that italic and bold that include the inflectional morpheme and the derivational morpheme, and I wanna identify is to you. I wanna share to you what is inflectional and what is derivational. The first is inadequate. Inadequate is derivational morpheme. That is derivational prefix that the meaning is not inadequate. In this word is the meaning is not, so that is the derivational morpheme. And the next is Koreas. Koreas is show the possessive, so that is the inflectional morpheme. And the next is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is a derivational morpheme. The first is the word knowledge is noun and the free morpheme, and acknowledge is a verb. So the knowledge and acknowledge is derivational morpheme from noun to verb, and acknowledgement is inflectional morpheme because that is unchanged, just a noun. And the the next is officials. Officials is inflectional morpheme because is noun and become plural because the bone morpheme s. And the next is growing. Growing is inflectional morpheme in the word include progressive and not change the class word. And the next is cause. Cause is inflectional morpheme as in this word include plural and not change the class word. And the next, accountability. Accountability in this text is derivational morpheme. Account is noun and accountable is adjective. So it changed from noun to the adjective, so that is a derivational morpheme. So and it's changed the word class, and accountability is noun. It's noun that changed the meaning and word class, so that is the derivational morpheme. And the next is responsibility. Responsibility is derivational morpheme. Response is noun become adjective from the suffix able, responsible, and so they change a word class from noun to adjective, and responsibility is noun that change the meaning. So responsibility is derivational morpheme. And the next is safety. Safety is derivational morpheme that change from the adjective safe and a suffix ty become a noun. Safety. Safety is noun, so that is the derivational morpheme. And the next is happen. Happen is in this sentence is inflectional morpheme. Ed in this word include that the act even in the past. And forward. Forward is derivational morpheme. Ed in this word include the change word class from the noun to verb. And the next is investigation. Investigation is derivational morpheme that change the class word from the verb. Investigate is verb. A suffix ation is become a noun. Investigate become an investigation, so that is the derivational morpheme from the verb to noun. The next is word apologize. Apologize is inflectional morpheme. Ed in this word include that the act even in the past. And the next is killed. Killed is inflectional morpheme. Ed in this word include that the act even in the past. And the next is happen. Happen is inflectional morpheme. Ed in this word include that the act even in the past. And clothes. Clothes is inflectional morpheme. As in this word is show that is the plural from singular to plural. And the next is gathered. Gathered is derivational morpheme that change adverb to verb. Gather is adverb, and ed in this word is show it change the word class from adverb to verb. Gather is verb, so it's derivational morpheme. And then the next is restrictions. Restrictions is derivational morpheme from verb to noun. Restrict is verb and restriction is a noun, so that is change word class from the verb to noun. And restriction is restrictions. Restriction is derivational morpheme from verb to noun. Restrict is verb, and the suffix agent is the suffix tion is become a noun, so that is derivational morpheme. But from the restriction is noun, and the suffix s is become a plural, so restriction to restrictions is inflectional morpheme. Okay, I think enough, and I hope you understand what is the morpheme, what is the derivational morpheme and inflectional morpheme, and you can identify the text. What is the word is inflectional morpheme and what is the word is derivational morpheme. So I think enough for me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.